So I just published a few days ago my latest video about the Google helpful content update, which happened last year during late September, early October, and I just recently finished researching it and publishing a video about it. And lo and behold, another update just dropped, the March update. It was on March 4 or March 5th, I think it's the official date, but usually I kind of notice the vibrations a couple of days before. So this just happened. So in this video, I want to kind of like build up on the previous one and update you about what I think about this update. And it's a doozer. It's a big one and there's lots to discuss. So let's get right into it. So first thing I want to say that this is a double update. This is not something that Google does very often, but I guess they started doing it now. And this is not only another core update, this is also a spam update. So on March 5th, they released another core update, which they said is going to be big one. They said it's going to affect roughly 40% of websites online. When you think about that number, that's a huge number to kind of have an effect on. And together with that, they also released the March spam update. And as we all know, spam updates they're different from like the helpful content update in a way that they're meant to target low quality sites in general, right? And not just their content. So if your link profile is really bad, really spammy, the spam update kind of handles that. If your user experience is really poor, it's gonna affect you probably the most. And the helpful content update, which it's now part of the core updates, they now kind of incorporated it. They kind of now incorporated the helpful content system with the ranking system. That's what they said. So now that's the other update that happened. Both of these happening simultaneously. The effect is huge, to be honest with you. The effect was to such a great effect that it was probably pretty brutal for a lot of websites. I was hit again myself. So many sites got manual penalties, like actual manual penalties in the Search Console. So many sites that seemingly, right, on the surface did not deserve it. There's a few guys and girls on Twitter that I follow that got manual penalties. If you probably heard the name Niche Site Lady, she has a big travel blog, and seemingly, right, it looks like she's doing everything right. She travels, she takes her own photos, original. She actually visited the places that she writes about. So this is kind of like what Google wants to see, right? But she got a manual penalty. Nobody knows why. A lot of other people who I follow and know in kind of like in this industry also got hurt. Sites got de-indexed completely, right? Some sites, maybe they deserve it, maybe they did not. I'm not here to judge, but I'm saying some sites got de-indexed completely, just thrown out of the search. Google said, "Nuh-uh, I don't like this content, I don't like this site," and just completely removed them. Granted, a few of them reported that they're back right after a couple of days from the update release. They were kind of like, oh, now some of my pages are back, but still it's very early stages. We don't know. The only thing we know for sure is that these two updates were brutal, and for some people, honestly, it's probably the last straw. We'll have to wait and see what's going on with it. So again, my sites were hit again by this update, and in the last year or so, some of my bigger sites got hit as well, and the traffic is decreasing. And while I'm trying very, very hard to work on that, so far no major success. So I'm not exempt from these updates, even though I consider myself with so many years of experience, seems like everybody is getting hurt, even those who are doing everything right. An interesting thing that a lot of people noticed, me included, is that Google now somehow changed their mind about AI content. Last year, when AI became a big thing, they kind of decided, you know what, we're okay with AI content. We don't care really how you produce the content. If you use AI, if you use humans, they kind of change their guidelines and say, as long as the content is helpful and is good for the user, we're okay with AI, we're okay with human writers, just keep it helpful and valuable to the users. Now, it seems like they reverted it back and now they're kind of like targeting specifically AI content. I feel like they didn't anticipate the huge explosion of spam and SEOs and publishers going all in on AI content and kind of like saying, you know what, if you're okay with AI now, I'm going to blast the internet with like 1,000 or tens of thousands of AI pages, and let's see how you handle it. And obviously, it looks like Google is not handling it. Hence, one of the updates now kind of targets sites that Google thinks are using AI content. So that's a very interesting development, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds going forward. Another interesting thing that I've noticed is that Google kind of seems confused to me at the moment. I feel like in the last year or so, with the boom of AI and this new technology, even though it's not new to Google itself, and Google is actually a pioneer in the AI space, it feels like they are somewhat confused. They don't know exactly how to incorporate the AI technology in the search engine and how to better display it to users and how to use it to better rank content and help publishers gain more visibility, or at least keep their visibility that they already had. So to me, this is my personal opinion. It looks like Google is going through a phase now that it's very confused, doesn't know exactly what to do. And don't get me wrong, obviously Google still rules the land. Google is the largest referral traffic source online. And as I said in previous videos and on my Twitter feed, I don't see them giving up that crown anytime soon. So even though traffic for publishers, me included, is way down and some people got crushed and driven out of the game, Google is still driving the most traffic to publishers, to third-party sites by a mile, by a large percentile. If last time I checked, I think it was like 65% compared to like second place, which is Facebook, and it was like 8%. I'm going to pull it up and put it right here so you guys could see, but there's a large margin. So even though the game is tough now, Google is still the ruler of the land. All right, so let's get to the brass tacks of things. So what do we do now? What do we do? If you've got hit, if you were hit, me included, I was hit as well. What do we do? How can we handle this situation? So first thing, Google said it's going to take up to a month for these updates to finish rolling out. So at this stage, early stage of the game, it's only been like a week after the updates have been released. I would not do anything. I would just wait. I would not do anything out of the ordinary. It doesn't mean stop doing anything, because doing something is better than doing nothing, but I would not do anything dramatic right now. So what I would do is I would keep improving my content as much as I can. I would keep improving the website as much as I can, building a brand, building a real business, not just spamming the index with low quality pages. But I would not do anything drastic until the algorithms are finished rolling out. Some people already see, like, their traffic took a nosedive, but in the last couple of days they see a slight increase. So that means the algorithms are still working on it, trying to figure out what's going on. But moving forward, as the SEO and publishing landscape as it looks right now, here's what I would do. All right, here's what I would do. longer term. So there's two things I would probably do. Let's say I wanted to get into the content game right now. So there's two things I would do. One is I would diversify my traffic from day one. Even if you're an SEO guy, I'm an SEO guy, I would work on trying to get other traffic sources to my site. The sooner the better. A lot of people are working on Facebook. Facebook is back, right? Social media is back. A lot of people are working on their Facebook pages and seeing some success. A guy who I respect, Tony Hill, on Twitter and on the Fat Stacks forum is doing an amazing job with Pinterest and Facebook, right? So there's a lot of courses you could buy or purchase. I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting anything, but I know there are a lot of people who have good success with Facebook traffic, and they teach a lot of people online on how to do the same. Annie Moss is one of them as well. She was still is a big web publisher for SEO, but soon as she understood the game is shifting, the game is changing, she's now doing pretty well with Facebook traffic and social media traffic. I myself always had a little bit of Pinterest traffic. Now I kind of increased that output. Some of my sites gain like a decent amount of Pinterest traffic. Again, it's not something to brag about, but it keeps you in the game. So I would do that. Newsletter is also a great approach. If you can build an audience using your newsletter, that's a great audience to have and to promote your content on or sell anything to those users. The second thing I would do is, if I was starting an online business right now that is focused on SEO, I would not choose display ads as my monetization method. I would build a real business, either selling a service, selling a product, or a mix of both, but I would not rely on the niche site model. Not because I think it's going to go away. I feel like publishing is a big part of the internet and it's going to stay. But I feel like this phase that we're in right now, Google is going through a phase, the AI phase, and the whole internet is basically going through this phase. And I feel like this phase, from the advice of a good friend of mine, a good, very successful friend, he says like this phase could last for a few years. So not a lot of people can sustain their business, especially if you're a small publisher. It's not realistic to sustain your business for a couple of years in an industry that's going through a phase that's very hard to know what's going on. It's not stable anymore. So I would start a real business. I would still promote it online with SEO, but with also social media traffic, PPC, all other traffic sources that I could, and I would not rely on the display ad business model because I feel like it's taking a hit. And long term, it's going to be okay, but in the short term, let's say between a year and 3 years from now, feels like it's going to be harder to handle. That's all I have for you in today's video. Just a quick update on the latest Google updates. Again, brutal updates. No one is sure what's going to happen. No one is safe. Even legitimate sites got hit hard. No one is kind of like exempt from it. I've seen a few websites that didn't have any effect, but there's no correlation between what they have and other websites have that makes you kind of pinpoint something that they're doing this, I'm not doing this. It seems like, I wouldn't say random, but I don't think like anyone figured out yet what's going on. So tough times, we gotta hang in there, and I feel you, I feel your pain. I've been experiencing it myself, and I will keep this channel updated with the latest on this update, right? It's gonna take a month for it to finish rolling out, so I will do a follow-up video about it and see where we stand. Until then, if you like this, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope even one person gained some value out of these videos. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.